All right, I think we are live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Northwest Community Council special meeting for November the 9th, 2020. My name is Lisa Blackburn. I'm Deputy Mayor and Chair of, well, actually, I'm Vice Chair, technically, of Northwest Community Council, but and maybe that'll be a question for the clerk's office later on when we go about the process of choosing our next chair and vice chair. But in the meantime, you're stuck with me for the evening. We're just going to go around the ring here and get everyone to test out their microphones and their videos. And it's also an awesome opportunity to introduce the world to our new members of Northwest Community Council. Welcome. So glad to have you here at the table with us. And we're going to start well, if you just want to test things out, starting with Councillor Kathy Deagle-Gammon with District 1. Good evening, ma'am.
Deputy Mayor Blackburn, it's a pleasure to be here and it's a pleasure to represent District 1, Waverley, Fall River, Musquodoboit Valley. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Next on the list, we have Councillor Pam Lovelace. I've waited a long time to say that, girl.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very pleased to be here this evening to represent District 13, Hammonds Plains St. Margaret's.
All right, and everything seems to be working well with your sound and video. We'll move on to Councillor Paul Russell. Good evening, sir.
Good evening from lovely but not terribly sunny Lower Sackville. Hope everybody's doing well tonight and looking forward to a good conversation.
All right, beautiful. And last but certainly not least, from District 16, Councillor Tim Outhit.
Hi, good evening all, and it's always sunny in Bedford, even at night. And I'm just so thrilled to be here working with I know all of you a little bit, and I'm really excited about, as Marnie Tuttle said the other day, what this little community council is going to be able to accomplish. So really excited to see the new members and a couple of veterans there that are almost used to me by now. So really looking forward to the next 4 years, and you can certainly count on my support and assistance any way I can.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we also have some staff here in the room this evening. I see we have, I feel like Miss Fran. I see we have Roxanne, our lawyer, and I see that we have Thea Langell from planning. If you folks just want to quickly introduce yourselves.
Yes, Roxanne McLaren from legal. I think my mic is working and I'm all good.
Excellent.
Yes, hi, my name is Thea Langell. I'm the principal planner of the Rural Policy and Applications team with HRM.
Beautiful.
Hello.
And we've got Maria.
I'm Maria Jacobs, and I'm here at Alderney Alderney second floor, Dartmouth.
Beautiful. Thank you for joining us this evening. And who else do we have here on staff tonight?
Oh, hi, Paul Sampson.
Hey, hi. Paul, welcome.
Hi, I'm with the Urban Applications Group out of Alderney Gate.
But you're not at Alderney Gate.
Not right now.
And from the clerk's office, who's joining us this evening?
Hi, Deputy Mayor Blackburn. Sorry, I don't have my camera on. This is Robin, your legislative assistant for tonight. And we also have Liam McSween, who is our producer for tonight.
Oh, Liam. Not him.
Liam's moonlighting. All right. Glad to have you on board, sir. All right, so I think everybody is up and running. Our video and audio is working well, so I think we can move on to the approval of minutes from the September 14th, 2020 meeting. And just a reminder that we will have to have somebody who was at that meeting to move those minutes for approval. Do I have a move?
This is Councillor Russell.
All right, so I think we have moved by Councillor Russell, and was that seconded by Councillor Outhit? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, anybody opposed to the approval of minutes? If not, then we will consider them approved as moved. Approval of the order of business and approval of additions and deletions. Do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Madam Chair, we do not have any additions or deletions.
All right then, looking for a motion to approve the order of business as presented.
I so move.
Moved by Pam, seconded by Kathy. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, so we have an agenda for this evening. Business arising out of the minutes, there are none. Call for declaration of conflict of interest. Anyone have a conflict of interest with anything that is on the agenda for tonight? Looking good. We can move forward then to, let's see, motions of reconsideration. We have none. Motions of rescission. We have none. Consideration of deferred business. We have none. And notices rather of tabled matters. Tabled matters. We have none. So that moves us on to 10.1, public hearings. And we do have a public hearing this evening. It is case 10.1.1, which is case 22143, a development agreement for a 176-unit residential subdivision, open space design development near Charleswood Drive and Cumberland Way in Windsor Junction. And just a reminder, because we are still fairly new to this public hearing process virtually, but we will proceed as follows. We thank you all for joining us here tonight for this virtual public hearing. The order of events of the virtual hearing will be the same as a regular public hearing. And how this goes is we'll start with a staff presentation. We will give the applicant an opportunity to present via telephone. And then normally we would go to the public hearing speakers list. And just a reminder to all the speakers and anyone who may be watching from home tonight, in order to have signed up as a speaker, the deadline was 4:30, the business day prior to the hearing. So that would have been 4:30 p.m. on Friday. We do have 2 speakers that have registered for this public hearing tonight. A note to our speakers, just hang tight, stay on mute until your name is called. And then once called upon, you can unmute your phone and you will have 5 minutes to speak. Once you've completed your comments, please remute your phone, and then you can just leave the meeting by hanging up on the call. And if you want to follow the rest of the meeting, you can do so through the link at halifax.ca through the webcast. Okay. So now, do we have any correspondence that's been received with regards to this public hearing?
Hi, Madam Chair. No, we actually do not have any correspondence.
Okay, that makes it easy. We can just move on to the staff presentation then.
Okay. Okay, everybody can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, thank you, Chair and members of Northwest Community Council. My name is Maria Jacobs, and I'm planner with the rural team presenting this application this evening. This is a development agreement request for a proposed conservation design development subdivision in Windsor Junction, also known as Charleswood Opportunity Site D. Slide 2, please. The latest version of the application was submitted by ZAP Consulting on behalf of the property owner. The applicant seeks to develop a 176 open space subdivision, now known as Conservation Design Development Subdivision, on Site D. The subject site fronts on the public streets of Charleswood Drive and Cumberland Way. Both streets come off of Wingate in the community of Windsor Junction. Slide 3, please. To give you a bit of site context, this slide shows the location of the subject site as generally shown in red in relation to the other planning applications in the area. This site is north of Sackville Lakes Provincial Park and Second Lake. This evening, we are only discussing Site D. The image on the right shows the site outlined in red. Slide 4, please. And to give you I'm just going to check something here. This is another site context to give you an aerial view of the property, and on the left is at the end of Cumberland Way, and on the right is an image from Charleswood Drive. Next slide, please. So to give you a bit of a planning background, In the regional plan, Fall River is designated as Rural District Growth Center. Therefore, a community plan to support low to medium density and eventually supplied with municipal water service. A community visioning process took place starting in 2007, followed by a secondary planning process. The River Lakes secondary planning strategy was approved by Regional Council in 2013. Slide 6, please. The overall intent of the River Lakes secondary strategy is to maintain rural village atmosphere and character, as well as have a mixed-use village core with low to medium residential density development, including sites for alternative housing options. This plan introduces policies to allow consideration of mixed housing developments at 5 locations to meet the needs of young adults and seniors, for example, that need access to alternative housing in order to stay in the community. Slide 7, please. As a result of the River Lakes secondary planning process, 5 housing opportunity sites were identified. Each of these sites are granted certain rights to enable and provide these alternative housing forms. All of these sites require a development agreement in order to move forward. Shown on this slide are the 5 residential opportunity sites. The opportunity site D, listed at the bottom of this slide and highlighted with the red arrows, is the planning application opportunity site we are discussing this evening. For this site, policy RL15 enables consideration of townhouses on 43 acres at a density of 2 units per acre. Slide 8, please. Through policy S17 of the regional plan, council must consider the provisions of criteria RL15, policy RL15 of the River Lakes secondary plan for site D. As listed on this slide, under the category of built form, architecture, and use, the following criteria must be considered. A maximum of 42 acres of the site to be developed for townhouses. A minimum of 60% of the site is retained as open space. The massing and built form of the development is compatible with adjacent existing low-density residential uses. This can be accomplished through siting, transition of building scales, architecture features, separation distance, landscaping, and buffering. And also the elevation of all buildings within each townhouse block shall be designed in a way that provides variation between the units, yet reinforces the common characteristics. Slide 9, please. Under the second category of the policies for RL15, site impact controls, the following studies are required to assess the impact of the development on the site and support the proposal. Identification of natural features such as watercourses and wetland and other significant natural and cultural features. A transportation impact study, a phosphorus assessment study to predict no increase in phosphorus pre and post development, a stormwater management plan that includes the flow of surface water, and a sedimentation and erosion control plan. Slide 10, please. The application timeline. This slide, I won't read it all to you, but this slide outlines the planning timeline and the background for this application. Staff have been working with the applicant on the proposed development over a course of many years. While this most recent revision was received in 2018, the following is a summary of the major stages in the planning process. It's also a way to demonstrate the amount of public input we have had along the way. So in 2006, adoption of the regional plan, followed by the adoption in principle of the Fall River Vision and Action Plan. Then stage 2, preliminary site design for the subject site, and then a public information meeting. And with the new policy and options in place, a stage 2 application was submitted and a second public information meeting was held. And then most recently, in 2018, the Shaw Group acquired the subject area. The planning application was revised to respond to previous public feedback and current housing demand. As well, a public open house was held in March 2019 for local residents to comment on the revised development proposal. Slide 11, please. This slide shows the original concept plan for the site in 2013. They proposed 177 units with 84 townhouses and 93 single unit dwellings. The area highlighted in green shows the 60% non-disturbance area and includes the 40% built area. The concept plan also includes private driveway loops coming off of the extended public streets of Cumberland Way and Charleswood Drive. Slides 12, please. So this was the revised site plan that was submitted in 2018. The slide shows the revised site plan, and they as well proposed 176 units with 84 townhouses and 92 single-unit dwellings. Again, 60% of the site shown in green will be left as open space. This includes the wetlands and watercourse buffer and a greater separation distance from existing dwellings. All of the houses and infrastructure will be in the remaining 40%. The pinkish color on the left shows the clustered 84 townhouse units on private driveways. This is in keeping with the permitted density of 2 units per acre, as mentioned above earlier. The orange shaded area shows the 92 single unit dwellings. All the dwelling units will be serviced with water as they are located within the water service boundary. As for sewage service, septic service, will be accommodated through a shared cluster septic system with supporting infrastructure, but details related to the system design are regulated by the Nova Scotia Department of Environment. As well, the access will be from, similar to the original submission, access from private driveways coming off the extended public streets of Cumberland Way and Charleswood Drive. Since the condo corporation will own the entire parcel, these private driveways off the publicly owned maintained streets will be privately maintained. The applicant who will present next will most likely speak to the proposal in more detail. Slide 13, please. So as far as public engagement, the original submission in 2013 had 2 public information meetings. Public consultation for this revised application submitted in 2018 took the form of a mail-out notification, a public open house held in March 2019, as I mentioned, and we also have our standard application webpage on halifax.ca. There are 200 notifications that were mailed to the property owners. And in terms of feedback, 132 members of the public attended the open house in the spring of 2019. And I received approximately 12 emails and phone calls about the proposal. During the time frame of October 15th and November 8th of this fall, there were 259 page views and 147 unique page views for this application on the web page. The average time on the page was 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Slide 14, please. The public comments from the open house, the calls, and the emails included the following. Impact on the water table and on adjacent wetlands, both on and in proximity to the subject site. Traffic congestion concerns as a result of the proposal and other surrounding developments. Townhouse affordability and design of the townhouses, such as availability of garages and storage units, connectivity to existing trails and roads. Slide 15, please. To sum up the proposal before you this evening, this is a slide showing the overall features of this revised proposal and how it relates to the policy set for Site D in the River Lake Secondary Planning Strategy. The provision of alternative housing through townhouses, cluster development on 40% of the site and the other 60% as non-disturbance area, which includes the watercourses and the wetlands and the setbacks. A development plan which carefully utilizes the natural topography, the surface cover, watercourses and wetlands, and natural vegetation. A phosphorus net loading assessment was undertaken in conjunction with a conceptual stormwater management plan for the entire proposed site. In addition, on-site specialized biological wastewater treatment units and dispersal systems were provided. Modeling undertaken by the phosphorus assessment measured the impact before and after the development. There was also a transportation impact study to and from the subject site, and this was reviewed. The original study submitted included Charleswood Drive and Cumberland Way. This was reviewed and found the projected volume to be low, or within the considerations to be low, and would have minimum impact on the traffic flow in the area with respect to trips generated by the proposal. As well, recently there was also an addendum to the study that included the impact on traffic flow in conjunction with another nearby development. The conclusion was the same. Slide 16, please. So this slide is a summary of the proposal as set out in the development agreement and the policy that it aligns with in the River Lake secondary plan strategy and the regional plan. Therefore, staff have reviewed this proposal and the study submitted as it relates to these policy sets, and therefore recommends approval of the proposal for Site D. Slide 17, please. So as first reading was given for this application on June 22nd, I believe, it is staff's recommendation that Northwest Community Council approve the proposed development agreement as set out in attachment A of the staff report. Slide 18, please. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Maria. And now this is the opportunity if any members of Community Council, if you have any questions of clarification from staff, just indicate in the chat that you have a question, and we'll proceed from there. And as I look at the chat, it's blank, but it was also doing that that blue circle of death thing. So I'm not quite sure if anyone has signed up or not.
If I have the right chat, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I did type in questions, so I might not have the right chat. If somebody else could confirm, I would appreciate that. Maria, I'm curious about the traffic impacts study that was done in conjunction with the nearby neighborhood. And this has been a concern of a number of residents of that general area, because this encompasses basically 3 districts. It encompasses District 1, 15, and 14. And so there was some disconnect about the 2 projects that were going on, and I just wanted to confirm that the traffic study that was done, did it just include the traffic that was generated in the area, or did it include one of the things that the community was asking for was traffic that was going through the area, taking that as a shortcut? If you have a look at the 2 streets that are basically going across the area. And I think I heard you say that it was predominantly looking at traffic that was generated in the area, as opposed to the concept of adding a throughput.
Yes, as far as I was concerned, I know the first one was done on the specific streets, the public streets that were going into the development. And then there was an addendum added, and I have to say, I thought it was for the area, but I don't know if they actually went further on beyond what we, the nearby, I guess, developments. I know the developers online, and they may be able to give a little more detail on that.
Okay.
Or Thea, do you know any more detail about the added? And like I said, we could probably have the developer or the applicant to give them a little bit more detail of the added traffic impact statement. If that's okay with everybody.
Thea, you're there. Did you want to say something?
I was actually going to provide the same recommendation. I believe that the consulting company that is here representing the developer should be able to provide any response to those specific questions on the traffic study, because it was their engineers that looked at it. There was a recent addendum that was done as a result of some of the questions raised by this community council around the time of first reading. So hopefully they'll be able to respond to those for you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
I do know that from staff's perspective, those studies were reviewed and our engineers concurred with their findings. But I believe the consultants can speak to the specifics of the findings.
Super. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. Any other members of Community Council with questions of clarification for staff?
I just have a quick question in regards, I'm wondering if you could please pull up the map again. I'm just wondering how close the water courses are to the buildings.
Okay, the next, I think after the thank you slide, there was the latest plan was on there, I think. There we go.
Yeah, so I just wanted clarification on whether or not water courses are actually there, but I don't see them. So I think they're over, because this is just the smaller section. As you pointed out, this is just section D. So I was looking at the larger map as to where those water courses are.
Well, I know on the top left-hand corner, sorry. Were you
Yes.
finished with your question?
Yes, thank you.
So on the top left-hand corner is the bog. That's a fairly well-known and established bog in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Beside the adjacent, the pinkish area.
Okay, that's where that is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely within the 60% non-disturbance area. And there's also, if you see the lighter green, the original proposal, if you see the bottom middle of your screen, there was a proposal there, a loop road there, but there's also just between the orange area and the proposed non-disturbance area, there's another kind of a light green color. That would be another wetland.
Thank you, Maria.
If I could provide some additional clarification if you wish.
Yes, please.
So also in accordance with the regional plan as well as the community plan that this would be in, we do have requirements for watercourse setbacks of 20 meters, and this particular project would meet, if not in some areas exceed, those watercourse buffer requirements.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions of clarification for staff? With your indulgence, if I could just step down from the chair for a moment to ask a question, just sort of following up on Councillor Russell's questions about traffic. Just wondering if you know whether my problem child, the corner of Wingate and Beaverbank Road, was considered as part of the traffic studies into this, because presumably that is going to be the point of entry/exit for most of the folks in that new area.
I was under the understanding that it was. So
All right. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Final call for questions? If not, then I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing.
I will make that motion.
All right.
Tim. Second by Tim.
All right. Moved by Paul, seconded by Tim. Public hearing is now open, and now we invite the applicant to address Community Council for 10 minutes. And just a reminder that the phones have automatically been muted by the system, and just tap *6 when you are ready to speak, and please introduce yourself so we can get to know you. Do we have our applicant on the line?
Me?
Oh, thought we heard something there. Who's this?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, we can hear you now. Who is this?
This is Connor Wallace speaking. Good evening, members of council. I am a planner with ZAP Consulting, and I'm happy to present to you tonight regarding the proposed open space development agreement application for approximately 134 acres of land located between Cumberland Way and Charleswood Drive in Windsor Junction. I'm presenting tonight on behalf of my client, the Shaw Group, and we do have a representative from the Shaw Group on this call as well. I'm happy to present to you this evening and respond to any questions you may have. Next slide, please. So I won't spend too much time on this slide because Maria did provide a detailed timeline and history to this application, but I do want to touch on some items here. As Maria mentioned, this application was originally submitted back in 2007 as an open space development agreement application, which a public information meeting was held. And following that 2007 submission, there was the proposed residential development was considered under the River Lake secondary planning process, and the subject lands were identified as an opportunity development site, as Maria noted as well. And policies were established to provide alternative housing options in the community of Fall River, with this site being identified as an opportunity site to do so. With this new policy options in place, a stage 2 application was submitted back in 2013, and a second public information meeting was held in October of 2013. Fast forward to 2018, the Shaw Group acquired the lands and is working with ZAP, us here at ZAP, to prepare a revised stage 2 application in response to a number of public feedback comments that were received in 2013 and current market conditions and demands. A subsequent public open house was held in March of 2019, and local residents provided comments on the revised development proposal. And from there, we work with staff and community and council to prepare a development agreement that's now being presented to Northwest Community Council this evening for consideration of approval. Next slide, please. So again, prior to diving into the details of the design proposal, I'd like to briefly speak to the community feedback that was received at various stages in this application process. Next slide, please. During the various public meetings, there was some general support voiced for the project. However, there are also some general concerns and themes of concerns that were brought forward by members of the public as well. There were concerns with excess stormwater runoff onto adjacent properties. There was concerns with the long-term maintenance of the wastewater systems that were proposed within the development. There were concerns with the proximity of new development to existing housing in the area. And there were concerns voiced relative to increase in vehicular traffic. And I'd like to take a few slides to kind of go through each one of these individually. Next slide, please. So I'd like to first speak with regards to stormwater runoff and wastewater systems. As part of the application process and the revised submission that was provided to staff in 2018, a detailed stormwater management plan and phosphorus net loading plan was submitted and prepared and reviewed and accepted by staff. This analysis determined that the adjacent properties will not be impacted by excess stormwater runoff, and it was analyzed at various critical points where water runoff is mitigated. These are noted in red arrows on the image on your screen. The stormwater management will select from a menu of stormwater mitigation design features to manage stormwater runoff to ensure there's that balance and not exceeding stormwater runoff onto adjacent properties. These features include things such as natural grass swales, biofilters, rain gardens, and some examples of these stormwater mitigation measures are shown in images on the slide now. With regards to wastewater management and maintenance, an automatic wastewater treatment unit is proposed for each development block within this overall development concept. These systems are proposed for their ease of use and maintenance, their lack of septic tanks, and superior treatment levels prior to the subsurface disposal. And this is a accepted wastewater system by the Nova Scotia Department of Environment. Next slide, please. The proposed development concept has responded to concerns regarding separation between existing uses and new development. The concept plan proposes significant separation distances between new development and existing residential homes. These distances range from approximately 10 meters in certain locations through the extension of Charleswood Drive to upwards of 50 meters between proposed dwellings and existing residential lots. And for a bit of context, the minimum rear yard setback for an R1A single family residential zone or an R6 rural residential zone in this plan area is approximately 2.4 meters. So the separation distance, we were cognizant of those comments and wanted to create that separation between existing lots and the newly proposed development. The concept plan is also proposing no new development for the portion of the lands located between Charleswood Drive and Windsor Junction Road, which is shown in the dark green slide. Originally in 2013, this area was development was proposed in this area, and the revised concept proposes to keep that as natural open space. Next slide, please. With regards to traffic, in July, as mentioned by Maria and Tia, in July of 2020, our engineering traffic consultant, WSP, completed a traffic impact statement addendum in addition to the original traffic impact statement that was submitted for this application in 2018. The fact and evidence-based studies were completed by a professional traffic engineer using traffic data in accordance with HRM regulations, and it was reviewed by HRM engineering and accepted. I will note to Councillor Russell's question, as part of this traffic analysis, they use a trip generation estimate process that is in accordance with HRM standards. Then My understanding of that process is that it does factor in the impact of local traffic, but it also accounts for the traffic generated from surrounding areas and things like people driving through this area to different locations and things like that. They use ratios that contemplate that type of movement of vehicles within their study and account for that in their data analysis. The traffic addendum that was and the purpose of this traffic addendum that was completed in July of 2020 was to assess the cumulative traffic impact of not only this proposed development, but an additional proposed development located approximately 2 kilometers from this off Wingate Drive as well, a 368 unit development that is proposed by a separate developer and not our client. The image on the top right is the proposed concept plan for this development, and the image in the bottom right is the latest proposed concept plan for that other proposed development off Wingate Drive. And as noted in the study, which is also located on the website, the traffic addendum that was prepared in July 2020 was prepared in response to a request from council to understand this cumulative impact, and it concluded that the cumulative traffic impact of both developments is not expected to have any noticeable impact on the level of performance of existing roads and intersections. Next slide, please. So on your screen now is the proposed concept plan for the development. I would plan to go through this in a bit more detail to explain the various nuances of the development. Development includes a total of 176 residential units, 84 of which are proposed to be townhouse units. The development is proposed over 4 phases. The first phase includes 2 townhouse pods to the west of the proposed extension of Cumberland Way, totaling of 44 units. The second phase includes 2 townhouse pods and single unit dwellings located to the east of the proposed extension to Cumberland Way. This includes 40 townhouse units and 25 single dwelling units. The third phase includes 32 single unit dwellings located to the west of the proposed extension of Charleswood Drive. And the fourth phase includes 35 single unit dwellings located to the east of Charleswood Drive. All dwelling units are proposed to front on common shared private driveways, and the public road extensions of Cumberland Way and Charleswood Drive are proposed to provide access to these various common shared private driveways. So the proposed units are fronting on these private driveways that are accessed from the proposed extension of Cumberland Way and Charleswood Drive. The concept plan is also mandated to preserve 60% of the total areas of the land as natural open space, which includes environmentally sensitive natural features such as wetlands and their associated wetland buffers. Next slide, please. And I'd like to take this time to go into a bit more detail regarding the proposed townhouse pods located within phases 1 and 2 of the proposed development. These pods include clusters of townhouse blocks that are accessed from common shared private driveways, and that also include parking. Each townhouse block contains 4 single-level residential townhouse units. The townhouse pods also include an accessory building that can be used for tenants to store larger personal items, and they include common gathering and seating areas, as well as interconnected pedestrian pathways between townhouse units and the parking areas. The images on your screen kind of outline a 2-dimensional plan of the proposed townhouse pod concept, as well as conceptual renderings of a 4-unit townhouse block, kind of from above and then from looking at it from a pedestrian's perspective. Next slide, please. I'd like to briefly speak to the policy, applicable policies for this application, and I'd like to thank Maria for a detailed explanation on this. As Maria mentioned, this was identified as an opportunity site within the River Lake Secondary Planning Strategy. And we looked at things as a built form and architecture, as well as retention of the natural environment, which the policy seeks to. And as noted in the staff report, the current design proposal is consistent with the intent of all applicable policies within the regional plan and the River Lake Secondary Planning Strategy. Lastly, I'd like to just share with you 3 vision statements that summarize the intent and goals for this development. They are to provide housing options for those adults who can no longer care for larger homes but wish to stay in their community, to provide residents with an opportunity to age in place and a home that meets their current needs and budget, and to provide housing options that create a peace of mind while fulfilling a variety of needs such as social inclusion, little to no maintenance, affordability, a healthy and safe environment, and direct access to the natural environment. Next slide. I'd like to thank you for your time this evening, and we are certainly available to answer any questions or clarifications you may have.
All right, that's great. Thank you very much. Do we have any questions of clarification from the members of council to the applicant? Let's see if I can find anything on my. I don't see anything in my meeting chat, but it might not be. All right, Kathy, go ahead. Sorry about that.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I wasn't sure if I was in the right chat as well, too. Of the traffic, just so that I understand, sir, you had said that the addendum looked at a separate developer's project that was 2 kilometers away. Is that the one that is in your district, Deputy Mayor?
Yes, that's the one that sort of straddles the line. It's sort of a little bit in mine, a little bit in yours.
Right, and so one of my questions would be, it looked like the extension of Charleswood into Elise Victoria, and if Elise Victoria opens up, that would be quite a true fare, and I'm just wondering if that was a consideration that I could find when I read the traffic study. So.
Sure, and thank you for your question. I can respond to that. So the terms of this development agreement requires that we extend Cumberland Way within the confines of this development site, which doesn't extend all the way to the current location of where Elise Victoria is currently terminated. So the development agreement does not require that extension, and we are not proposing that creating that extension connection. Therefore, the traffic study was prepared to reflect what is currently being proposed in this development, which includes extending Cumberland Way, but not connecting it through to Elise Victoria in terms of the vehicular traffic.
My apologies, the sound went in and out a little bit, and so I missed probably the last 2 sentences there.
Oh, sorry. I'll just, I guess I can just respond again and start from scratch here, and yeah, certainly let me know again if you missed anything. But yeah, so the development agreement that's being proposed this evening requires the developer to extend Cumberland Way to the extent of where the site boundary and property lines are located. However, we are not required nor are proposing to extend that connection for vehicular traffic all the way through to Elise Victoria. Therefore, the traffic study was completed, understanding that that connection is not being made through this development at this current time.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions from members of council?
I have a question.
Hi, sure, go ahead, Pam.
Certainly, I just have a question about the stormwater management. I understand that the roadways are private and that you have suggested all kinds of different stormwater mitigation. What I'm wondering, though, is whether or not Halifax Water has had an opportunity to review this stormwater. Obviously, you know, all of the other stormwater system around those homes and around this development would impact Halifax Water.
Certainly, and I can respond to that as well, and I encourage Maria or Thea to provide any additional information that I may miss. But my understanding is that our stormwater management plan was circulated and to Halifax Water for review as part of the application process, and that team review process that they go through. So they have reviewed and from my understanding, have accepted this application, and I encourage Maria or Thea to chime in if they have any additional things to add with regards to that.
All right, and Thea just popped up on the screen.
I can concur with the statements that have been made by the applicant, Connor. Yes. So when these types of projects come in, they are reviewed by a variety of internal and external agencies, one of which would have been Halifax Water. So they have seen and reviewed that. And also they would get into the details of that at a permitting stage if council was to approve this development.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Tim, did you have any questions?
I am here. No, I had some questions about the traffic, but that has been addressed. Are CCCs involved with or part of this project because of the size of the capital cost charges?
I can respond to that question, Councillor. No, this project is not subject to any capital cost contribution charges or program. and not necessary.
And that was my question, I guess, because they are addressing some of the traffic issues. You didn't feel the CCCs were required as well?
That is correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. And if council would allow me to step down out of the chair to just quickly ask a question, a clarification of the applicant. Connor, I just want to confirm, was the intersection at Wingate and Beaverbank Road studied as part of your analysis of traffic? That's the first question. And what was the second one? Oh, I can't remember. We'll go with that one then.
Sure, no problem. Yes, as part of the both the original traffic impact statement as well as the addendum, that intersection as well as the intersection of Windsor Junction Road and Wingate were assessed and reviewed as part of the analysis.
All right, thank you. And I just remembered my second question, and just to confirm that you guys are not planning to, and it's not part of your plan to punch through any of these streets through to Elise, Victoria, and beyond into Monarch, Rivendell.
Yes, that is correct. The development agreement here is proposed to extend these streets to the confines of this site, and that is what we are mandated through this development, and there's no plan to extend them further at this stage.
All right, thank you very much. Seeing
if I may, Madam Chair.
Oh, most certainly.
Thank you. I just want to confirm, do you own the property next door where you would be punching the streets, or where someone would be punching the streets through to the already established development, or is that completely in someone else's hands? I'm just not sure.
Yes, and I can clarify that. That is not within the ownership of my client. It is owned by a separate owner.
It is owned by a separate owner. So that separate owner could come along and do the same type of thing, where we are back here having a discussion about the traffic that goes through their property. And that would be once this development has been completed. But we will do that at that time. All right. Thank you very much. All
right. Thank you so much, Councillor Russell. So no further questions or clarification for the applicant. We'll now turn to our public speakers, and members of the public who registered with the clerk's office on this matter. You have 5 minutes to address the topic, and when called upon to speak, please just give us your name and the name of the community where you live, so we can jot it all down for the record. And again, in keeping with the rules of order, please keep your comments respectful, on topic, and directed to the chair. Once again, just if you're on the phone, just hit *6 to unmute yourself. And we will now call upon Roberta Power. Roberta Power, are you joining us this evening? Just hit *6 to unmute yourself there, Roberta. And someone from the clerk's office let us know if Roberta does have a phone line to us this evening.
Hi, Deputy Mayor Blackburn. I do not see the number that Roberta gave us on the contact list here, but I will go ahead and try to contact her and see if there are maybe some technical issues. And
okay.
Yeah, so you can go forward with Ruth, and we will work on getting Roberta in here.
Okay, then, perfect. So while we're seeking out where Roberta is, we'll call upon Ruth Carlton. Ruth, are you on the line with us? Just hit *6 to unmute yourself, please. Looking for Ruth Carlton. Do we have any indication that Ruth is with us this evening?
I do see 2 numbers in here that I'm not sure who they are. From the 2 numbers that I have on the line, I don't want to say the numbers out loud, but would you mind unmuting your phone and just identifying yourselves? If you're the cart captioner, there's no need. But I want to know, I see 3 numbers If you can unmute yourself, that would be great so I can see who we have. Just press *6.
Good evening.
Oh, we heard somebody there.
Hi, good evening. It's Kevin Neat here from the Shaw Group Clayton Developments Limited, the applicant.
Okay, thank you for identifying yourself. And that means I believe the other number that we have is the cart captioner. So that means we do not have either of the speakers in the meeting. If we'd like to take a short break, we can do that. And I will try to get a hold of the speakers and see what is going on there.
All right, perfect. If we want to just take a quick 5 minutes, I'll run upstairs and get a glass of water and come back. And yeah, in 5 minutes, let's hope that we have our speakers, and we'll return to our regularly scheduled programming. See you in 5.
Hi, Deputy Mayor Blackburn. This is Robin. I just wanted to let you know that I have gotten a hold of both Roberta and Ruth. We do have Ruth on the phone now, and Roberta has decided not to speak. So once everybody is back, we can resume the meeting, and then we can start with Ruth, and she will be our only speaker.
All right.
Okay. Okay. I'll just...
Hi, Ruth.
Hi.
Can I just get you to mute your TV or your live webcast, as we can hear the audio coming through on the phone?
Yeah. Okay, just hold on one sec here.
No worries.
All right.
Okay. Hi, Ruth. Okay.
Beautiful. All right. Now, before we start, do we have everyone back? We have Pam and Kathy and Tim. We're all good?
I just want to make sure we do have everybody. So if you could all just turn your cameras on for a minute, that would be great.
Perfect.
Okay, awesome. That's perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for the delay. I apologize for that. And yes, so we do have our speaker with us. Ruth Carlton is joining us. Ruth, go ahead. You have 5 minutes to address Community Council on this topic.
Okay. Do I still have to do the *6? Or...
No, you are good. We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I just had a question about the traffic study. In reading through some of the notes there that were posted, when was the actual study done? I know it said when it finished, but when was the original study started, and what dates did it end?
All right. Now, usually the process we follow, Ruth, is that you get to speak and ask all your questions, and then we'll have the applicant answer them. So, do you have any other questions other than that?
No, I guess, and I just find it hard to believe that there won't be an impact on the Beaverbank end. Like, I can hardly get out there now. I can't imagine that this study with the other development that is taking place, that they're saying there's not going to have any great effect on it.
All right. If that's the last of your questions, Ruth, we thank you for joining us tonight. And the applicant now has an opportunity to briefly respond to those points.
Okay.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, great.
Oh, but now we can't.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Are you still there?
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
I am.
we
Yeah,
can.
sorry
We can. That's okay. We can hear you now.
Okay, great. So thank you, Ruth, for your question, and I can provide additional context on that. So as part of the original traffic impact statement that was submitted in 2018, as well as the addendum that was prepared in 2019, what that did is it looked at historical trip generation data provided by HRM Traffic Management, and they looked at two separate data sets. The first being data set in 2015 through to 2019. And the second, looking at data that, again, newer data that came forward in 2017. And what they do is they look at that traffic impact data in association with the data that's proposed to be generated from these developments. And the addendum, not just this development as well as the nearby development off Wingate Drive, which I described earlier. So it looks at the traffic data from those streets as they existed prior to the development and the impact of these developments in addition to that existing traffic data to generate their recommendations, of which is that they are not expecting any increase or impact generated from these proposed developments on the traffic in the area.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you to Ruth for joining us this evening. Since Ruth was our one and only speaker for the public hearing, Let's see, yep. So just need a motion now to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Russell. Do we have a seconder?
Seconder, Tim.
Second.
Seconded by Kathy Deagle-Gammon. All right.
Even better.
Even. Public hearing is now closed, and staff, you have an opportunity to address any comments that you may have heard from our speaker tonight.
No, I just wanted to concur that the study was done in late 2018, the first study, and
right.
this one was done in July. But other than that, that's both those studies concur or identified the low volume or low trip generation.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. So at this point, this is where I ask, what is the wish of council? Traditionally, this is where the motion would be introduced, and usually we go to the council member where the development or the issue is generated. So we shall go to you, Kathy, to move the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would make a motion that the Northwest Community Council approve the proposed development agreement, which shall be substantially of the same form as set out in Attachment A of the staff report dated May 5th, 2020, and 2, require that the agreement be signed by the property owner within 120 days, or any extension thereof granted by council on request of the property owner from the date of final approval by council and any other bodies as necessary, including applicable appeal periods, whichever is later. Otherwise, this approval will be void. Obligations arising hereunder shall be at an end.
All right. Do we have a seconder for that?
I shall second that, Councillor Russell.
Seconded by Councillor Russell. All right. Who is anyone wishing to speak on the motion? Anybody looking to speak on the motion? If no one is looking to speak on the motion, then I'll ask for the question.
Question.
The question has been called for. Question has been called for. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed? We have none opposed. That is unanimous. Motion has carried. Thank you very much. That may be the easiest public hearing that you'll ever have is during your time on council. So we're moving now to item 10.2, variance appeal hearings, which we have none. Correspondence, petitions, and delegations. Do we have any correspondence, Madam Clerk?
Hi, Madam Chair. No, we do not have any correspondence. However, we do have a petition from Councillor Output, petition to provide alternative access to new apartment development behind Sama Court in Bedford.
All right, that 11.2 petitions. Tim, did you want to put any context around that, or it's already been presented?
Sorry, thanks, Chair. I have received this and I have responded to the residents acknowledging that I received it electronically. I have sent it off to Planning and Development, and Aaron McIntyre is investigating the situation and preparing a response. So things are well underway.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. We don't have any presentations on the list for tonight. Let's see, item 12, information items brought forward. There are none. Reports 13.1.1, review of report requests. Let's see. I'm not sure, legislatively speaking, how best to handle this, because the only report that's on the list is one that I had requested stay alive, and I'm not sure legislatively, do I just step down from the chair and speak to it, or?
Hi, Madam Chair. I think if as long as everybody is okay with the list of reports, I think there's only one on there. I think as long as everybody's still okay with that, then we can just move the motion on the floor or on the agenda.
Agreed.
All right, perfect. So Tim, if I could get you maybe just to move the motion so that I can just briefly speak to it and then we'll vote from there.
I actually don't have that in front of me at the moment. The
Oh,
actual-
okay.
I'm happy
Then
to
I
move
can
it.
take care of that.
I'll
Perfect.
second
Thank you,
it.
sir.
Okay, so I move that Northwest Community Council review the attached list of report requests as outlined in attachment 1 of the staff report dated October 26th, 2020, and bring forward any items recommended to be withdrawn.
All right, so
I'm
we have
happy
a
to second
mover.
that. How about I have that? Thank you.
All right, and Tim has seconded that. With your indulgence, I'll just step out of the chair just to say, yes, I very, very much want to see this work continue. We have a lot of problems with our land lease communities, especially out in District 14. And I think any improvement that we can make to our bylaws, recognizing, of course, that this is largely a provincial issue that falls under the jurisdiction of the Residential Tenancies Act, but still, I do believe there are things that we can do and should be doing to improve the lives of residents of land lease communities. So I know that former Councillor Brad John's name is attached to that report request, but you can put my name directly underneath it because I definitely want to see this work continue. Thank you. Any further comments or debate on that motion?
Call for the question, Tim.
Question has been called for. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none opposed, motion carried. Thank you very, very much. Moving forward to 13.1.2, which is case 21863, development agreement at Wilson Lake Drive and Sackville Drive, Middle Sackville. Just wondering, yeah.
I can make that as well.
Could you? Thank you, dear.
Okay, I move that Northwest Community Council give notice of motion to consider the proposed development agreement as set out in attachment A of the staff report dated September 30, 2020 to permit a 7-unit townhouse style multiple unit dwelling at the intersection of Sackville Drive and Wilson Lake Drive, Middle Sackville, PID 405-74907, and schedule a public hearing.
Second, Tim.
We have a mover and a seconder. Any speakers or questions on the motion? If I could just put a little bit of context around this, I've been to at least one public meeting on this, and the developer has worked very hard to tweak the proposal based on the public feedback. This looks a lot different from when it was first proposed. So I look forward to hearing the updated public response during the public hearing on this. Thank you. If there's anything else there, if no one else is looking to speak on that, I'll call for the question.
Question?
Question has been called for. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing no opposition, that motion passes. All right, we are chugging along here, folks. Moving along to 13.2, members of Northwest Community Council. 13.2.1, Councillor Russell, with an amendment of the Sackville Land Use Bylaw.
Thank you very much. And I would like to move that Northwest Community Council request a staff report for an amendment of the Sackville Land Use Bylaw, Part 6, Section 27A, to allow for the height of a building to be based on the mean grade of a building, not the lowest grade of the curb.
Second, Tim.
All right, we have a mover and a seconder. Did you wish to speak to that?
Yeah, if I could. So this is there is a development going along Sackville Drive, and this is in an area of Sackville Drive where the topography changes quite a bit from the street to the back of the property, and the developer wishes to erect 3 5-story apartment buildings. All of the apartment buildings are only going to be 5 stories. One of the challenges that we face is that the measuring point for the properties along Sackville Drive is from Sackville Drive. And so where this goes into a hill that slopes up quite a bit, what we see is that either a lot of the hill has to be taken away and there would be a large retaining wall established at the back of it, or there has to be a development agreement. And what this developer is looking to do is build 3 apartment buildings, and regardless of what he's building, this is the issue that he's facing, that it is measured from a point that is different from a number of the other bylaws in town. I can show you the site plan, I can show you the topography in Google Maps, but effectively, if you're driving up Sackville Drive and you see a large chunk of the hill taken out, it's so that he can make sure that that first apartment building that he's building is within the grade of Sackville Drive, and the rest of them are going to be difficult to put in as well. So I'm simply looking for consideration to bring this in line with the rest of the bylaws that are around HRM and measure the height of the building based upon the mean grade around the building, which could be far higher up if it is built on a hill, instead of being measured against Sackville Drive.
All right. This is the spot that's directly across from Nothing Fancy.
That's exactly it. Yes. And for those familiar with Sackville, it's the old Baxter property.
Right. All right. All right. Any other questions? Again, this is for a staff report. Seeing no further questions on the board, I will ask for the question. Question has been called for. So many questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Opposed? Seeing no opposition, motion carried. Thank you very much. So let me see. 14 motion. We have no in-camera items. No added items as per the clerk's office. Any notices of motion? Seeing none, I will let folks know that our next meeting is on November the 26th, and that is a very special meeting. It's a joint public hearing with Halifax and West Community Council again on November the 26th. And having reached the end of the line here, asking for a motion to adjourn.
A quick question, Madam Chair, just before we go.
Yes.
When do we elect the new chair and vice chair of this committee? Just because we don't have a chair, obviously you're doing a great job as vice chair, and the next meeting is going to be a joint meeting. I'm just wondering if Robin can enlighten us on when we should go about electing a chair or vice chair.
Hi, Councillor Altet. Yes, that is a great question. We will be doing that at the December meeting.
Okay, so Lisa, you're the boss till then and maybe longer.
Until then. All right, seeing no further questions, thank you all for your patience tonight. Not too often I get to chair these meetings, so I appreciate your patience and indulgence. Looking now for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It is so moved. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fabulous night. And for most of you, we'll see you all in the morning for Regional Council.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, folks. Take care.
Bye.